I regularly find myself thinking, why do people suck? Just like in general, why are you comfortable being garbage? I tend to control myself so I don't look at people like they're garbage or treat people like they're garbage or move through the world like someone is nothing more than refuse. But I see these garbage people all the time and I wonder, how are you okay with that? Like, on a spiritual level, even. How are you okay being nothing? Nothing special, nothing interesting, nothing out of the ordinary. You're just this, and that's all you got going on. I've seen these people since I was a child, and I did not know what I was recognizing. I was seeing these people who, what? I don't even know what to say about it. I just know they're old as all hell, and it's a miserable thing to think about how long I've been around them. Was like, God, you're so miserable that you can't let anyone else have joy in the world. There's always this hard cut off line for one person or another, and anyone who's not carrying that same empty, joyless soul to you is, of course, someone you have to destroy. Truthfully speaking, it makes me angry. When sometimes it has made me angry to the point of triggering my protective side, where I see someone clearly about to tear someone else down, clearly doing that. And before I think to hold my tongue, I lose it. And that fight that I always suppress, comes out and I have to push back. But people suck. A lot of people fucking suck. And nothing is worse than being around gossipy people who suck, because they're going to make sure everything around you sucks too. Their eyes tell you that they have done something wrong, or they smile in a way to say they have done something wrong, and they feel this sense of ugly superiority that makes me think, oh, you're no better than a bug. They suck, and they are insignificant because of the my words. Because at least when a bug sucks, it sucks because it has to. It's just a thing that eats and reproduces. It has no higher function. It just does the thing that the bugs do, and it goes on and on and on. There is no greater. Oof. There is no greater life for bugs, so they are what they are. But a person can be so much more, and instead they choose to be awful. Like, you have to tell me, what does being awful feel like? I don't know. Not to say I've never had awful moments. Unfortunately, I'm human too, but I've never been satisfied in the pain of others. I've never been satisfied in being able to tear someone down. I've never been satisfied with hurt because it's really nothing. It's really this empty thing that you can't get anything out of or build with because it's flimsy. You hurt and it's like it. So why would you ever come back? What do you ever get out of it? And it's like, well, those people who suck must be getting something. Because they keep going back like it's a what's the word I'm looking for here? Drug, frankly. They need another hit of somebody else's pain or shame or embarrassment. They need to feel good about being garbage. It's like, damn. I have been around that person too much. It has wounded me because I had to choose not to hurt back. It is a misery to look at a person and say, you are so wounded that nothing can be done. You are so wounded that the only thing anyone thinks to do is wound somebody else, so they're forced to be more hurt than you, and so that they can then point at them and say, well, at least you're not hurting as bad. You're so wounded that all you have, the only true form of kindness you can ever hope for, is a man who was apparently so kind that when people nailed him to a cross and tortured him, he didn't damn them. It's like, wow, that's how hurt you are. You need somebody who will let you hurt them and not ban you from the kingdom of heaven. It's like, you don't get it, do you? You don't get it, do you? Like you think you do, because, well, all the hurt people you've been around before have said, well, all you have to do is say sorry at the end, and then all things are going to be good. And it's like, no. Because that same man people nailed to a cross and tortured, yeah, they did that because he was going around telling people, hey, stop being hurtful. Stop deciding that you're righteous enough to be the cause of somebody else's pain. You're not. You're not for being the guys talking about the whore. You're not for being the people claiming you're closer to God. You all fucking suck. So if you really actually want to be happy, you have to stop trying to be happy hurting someone else. I'm like, no. Especially not when hurt is how you stay in charge. Especially not when you know that so long as you're telling people you're hurting someone for them or you're hurting someone for a good reason, they'll be all right with you hurting them. It's like, we cannot have a man going around saying, hey, it's not all right for anybody to hurt anybody. So what are they going to do? They're going to hurt him in the worst way. Make him leave, make him give up on mankind. Because people can be so hurt that there's nothing they can do. A coworker said to me, when I spoke to her for advice or for where I was standing in my journey that day, hurt people hurt people. Like, simple phrase, but so profoundly true. Those people who are so wounded that they don't know how to heal can only think to wound somebody else. Those people who are so wounded by those above them who say, no, you can never wound us back, they hurt those who are below them and go on to hurt them again and again and again and again and again. Hurt becomes justified. And somehow they want heaven at the end of their life. Like, you couldn't stop a person, you couldn't stop hurting a person long enough for them to heal from your last wound. If it looks like they're picking themselves up, you have to make sure they're torn down. You choose to suck. And I just can't understand why. You all choose to suck. And it's really easy to just find joy in life. Everything you love was made by someone else, so how about you love that person enough that they can make something new? No, 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 not you. Not after all the pain you suffered. The pain has to mean something, right? And it does. It means that we are surrounded by people who would choose hell as long as it meant someone else can never get to heaven. I have seen hurt in the youngest of us and the oldest of us. I have seen children spiritually bruised in such a way that they resemble adults, except no, now I see these are not adults either. These are the same hurt child playing the same role they were told to play to make the adults that hurt them feel alright about it. These same people then tell other people they too have to be alright with being hurt, because the only way you'll be alright with them being around is if you can be hurtful. It's like, fuck. Doesn't that feel like a pit for you? Doesn't that feel like a blasted spiral, a whirlpool, spinning toward an endless drain? Don't you hate that? Doesn't it feel emptying to you? Doesn't this suck? Open this hole that drains everything out. Doesn't that feel bad? Because whenever I've hurt people, I've only felt bad. I have felt guilt and I have felt shame. I have felt the weight of the world upon my shoulder. I have looked at it like, fuck. I did not mean to make this error. And I have felt that pain so thoroughly that's like, ugh, I don't want to feel it. But these same people who I've hurt will go back to say, well, they won't say no, but they'll show they were happy they hurt you. It's like, I know you were happy. I know you were, but what I don't know is why. You hurt. You chose to hurt me and told me to forgive you. And I see, looking back, it's like, oh, you thought that you could force me to be Jesus. Like, no, you are so very wrong. I don't understand how Christ forgave people. I don't understand. I know I do, unfortunately, understand why he would say, forgive them, for they know not what they've done. Like, no, they don't. They're too stupid to understand the sin of hurting the child of a God. They don't fully comprehend what a deity is. So, yes, they are. They don't know what they've done, but they'll be damned, truly damned. They'll be damned if they don't stop doing it. That was what you call a tongue twister, but also alliteration. I've stared too much at hurt my entire life. I've stared at it so hard that I have become a doctor. Not thoroughly, unfortunately, not thoroughly. Perhaps if I was in a medical room, it would be better because while I can never cure the wound that people are carrying, I can at least cure what's possible. I can at least cure the soul sitting in front of me. I could at least heal somebody because I have trained extensively to be able to do that. Not because doctors make a lot of money, but because curing hurt is a divine thing. But I was too busy carrying that hurt to realize I'm not the one who did anything wrong. So, I'm not the one who needs to be healing these people. They're too hurt. They're hurt so thoroughly, so fully that I know they won't move forward. They beg me for help. It's like, wow, you don't seem to get it. You don't seem to get that you can hurt people year after year after year after year after year. And they say at the end, hey, I didn't really mean all that. It's like, oh, you poor, poor fool. You poor, poor fool. You keep demanding the healer to heal you, and the healer already told you, hey, the only way for anyone to be healed is for you to stop hurting them. Like, so simple. Because there's enough people in the world that a lot of stuff could be happening every day. You're fantasizing about how a man cured the blind. And it's like, you don't even know who that man is. You don't fully conceptualize what it takes to heal something that was caused by the world. Not by your hands, but by happenstance, by the universal math missing a 1 or 0 here and there. You don't understand how much it takes to be able to heal blindness. So get out of the way and let somebody who does take a step forward so that they can figure out if they're right, so that they can figure out how to heal. Because you're going to hurt them otherwise, just so they stay back and you can always feel better, but you're going to feel worse in the end. You're not going to get to the end of a life of hurting people and say, hey, I can get into heaven, right? Like, no. I hate that I understand Jesus in a moment like this. I sympathize for the Christ because, like, oh my God, oh boy, I am tired thinking about you. You walk through a harder world than I can imagine and spoke to people. You talk them out of their cruelty and got them to move a bit forward, only to turn around and see they hadn't really learned. They were more attached to the idea of you as a healer than the idea of you as a person who is trying to stop the world. No, save the world. They only saw you as someone who could treat their pain, despite the fact that you told them, hey, someone else can. My guy, I sympathize with you. I somehow have become a man who thinks, damn, I want to heal Christ because healing him, he's been wounded. It's like by mankind, by the big man and the small man, by womankind too, in case certain abusive mothers think they're going to escape the condemnation. You all have hurt this man because you keep saying his name without hearing his words. And it takes way too much to heal that. No, that's not true. It takes understanding the difference between necessity and hurt to heal that. And I guess what I could say people confuse me with is that their hurt does not seem necessary. We don't have to choose that path. It's very clear we don't have to hurt anyone, and yet here we are doing exactly that. Hurting people, sucking, and I truly don't know why. When I look in your eyes, sometimes I think, why must there always be hurt there? Why must you never wake up? And see the world with joy? The world sucks, for the record. Going back to the man who said he wanted to save it. It's like, I've become too good at recognizing what hurt is. So I know that the world sucks. But I've also learned that despite it all, there's good in others, twisted good, blind good, good that shouldn't be so ugly, but at the same time, it's like, hey, necessary hurt. You'll never feel good about who you are. No, no. At least you're doing good. Now, if only you could get to that place where you're doing it without trying to hurt somebody else. If we could get there, damn, I should have put the earrings on. Hold on. Just to make sure you don't stop recording. Now, where were we? Hurt. And like just how ingrained that gets. How the very air we breathe is filled with it. I walk with too much pain. Pain that is not my own. And yet I choose not to be hurtful because there's enough of it in the world. But you're going to hurt people sometimes, aren't you? Not intentionally, but sometimes the intention can only hurt. And these hurtful people, they're not going to say, damn, you know what? I get it. That was my bad. I fucked up. They're gonna pretend like you're the villain. It's like, you all have become so bad that I recognize now when you have witnessed pain, you think to yourself, it's finally my time to hurt. Like, you can have this world back. That is the hurt I have to do. Hand you the world back because this is too much for me to carry. You do suck. You are hurtful. And the only thing that can change that is you getting better. I can't change that. I can't heal you. I decided I have the lofty goal of healing Christ myself. And I'm like, well, all you're ever gonna do is get in the way. Yeah, you're just going to get in the way. Because rather than take that hurt on the chin, you say, well, I never did anything wrong. Or, well, you hurt me. It's like, trust me. The way you all are, the way you all act, is like, no, I have never hurt you. And I don't really want to. But Hurt people do hurt people. And hurt people will go out of their way to put a body behind them. They want to see if they can get away with it and get in through the gates. And it's like, oh, you don't really know. You don't really know. You really don't know. Who's going to be waiting for you there? It's going to be all the pain that you've ever caused, and it's going to say, hey, buddy, remember me? And you're going to say, no, I never did that. And he's going to put his hand on your shoulder, and he's going to say, no, of course not. But you wouldn't mind if I followed you to the gate, right? And you're going to turn away because you'll be afraid that someone will recognize the hurt in you. But I can ask this question and people will still suck. There's nothing I can say about that. And so, with that then, I must bring this thought to an end. This has been another episode of Thus Spoke Lord Nashu on how much people suck. And I'd be delighted if you were to join me once again.